What's going on, Fame Analytics family? It's been a minute since I did a movie review, so I figured I'd come on out and do the basically straight to on-demand film Antebellum that just dropped the other day. It's directed by Christopher Renz and Gerard Bush. This is their debut feature film as directors, and I definitely had to come on here and kind of talk about it a bit. Starting this off, this is a spoiler review, so if you do not want to know what happened in the movie, you definitely want to go and log off. I was not impressed with this movie in terms of how it ended. It was just like one of those movies, if I had to kind of give you a quick overview, is a great setup and all these wonderful things happen and everything is kind of put in place to where there's going to be this big reveal, and then there's not much of a reveal at all and it just kind of ends. So this movie did not land the plane, first of all, but let's kind of go through it. Antebellum is a well-shot psychological horror film about a strong black author that finds herself in a throwback reality fighting for life, sanity, as well as humanity. It centers around Janelle Monáe's character, Veronica, but also has a great cast of other notables such as Jenna Malone, Gabby Sinnabang, who is absolutely hilarious in this film, as well as Jack Houston, who starred in some other projects as well. They get together and they definitely help push this very thinly constructed narrative along. This release is like a big setup to reveal all the details around something bigger at work, only to kind of let you down in the end with little to nothing really to show for it. This movie will not only transport you back to slavery times, but it also takes you through a diversity of emotions, not just around the content, but the fact that you had to kind of endure all of that just to not get a full picture of why the hell you got there in the first place. Like, for instance, the opening scenes are gripping. I mean, they display all the horrors of slavery in very vivid detail. No act of cruelty towards people of color was spared in the filming of this project. I'm looking at it as more of an extreme version of Get Out, and kind of minus the mind surgery and based upon a real plantation complete with all of the fun acts that come with it. So, and the reason why I mentioned Us and Get Out is because I feel like they kind of paved the way for this release. And so it's kind of impossible not to really compare the outcomes, or at least the different approaches for the stories. But I digress. But since this is a spoiler review, let's get a little bit more in detail. Success, let's say this girl, Janelle Monáe's character, she's a successful and popular modern day writer that's incredibly well spoken, a beautiful woman of color. She's married with an adorable daughter, living her best life as a respected academic public figure. She's abducted by a group of unknown individuals and placed onto a fully functional plantation with others that have also been abducted. The movie makes you think that the images that you're seeing are a flashback or some sort of hallucination, but this is all happening in real time. Basically the setup is really excellent, but they couldn't land a plane in it. So it winds up to where she's been kidnapped, as well as other people that are on this plantation. They're working, they're doing all the duties out there, and she eventually, tries to escape on several occasions. She's brought back. She tries this one last time and is able to secure a cell phone from a gentleman that he has out there. She and another gentleman fight off, one of the leaders of the slave, master or whatever they call themselves out there. They overthrow him. They, are able to get him down. One of them dies within the process. She's kind of the main character that gets out. She's able to call her husband. She's able to get a pin out. The location is there. Everything is exposed, and there's a great scene of her kind of escaping, with the coat of a Yankee soldier on and everything, kind of symbolizing, her escaping, with one of the symbols of freedom, on her back, being part of the North and such. And all of that is great, but it doesn't tell you who these people are that took her. It doesn't tell you why. It gives you no real explanation as to why this is happening and anything like that. It's just like you're just made to just know that there was this, insidious group of people that was going around, putting people of color into these real plantation situations in modern day. And, that's just what they were doing. There's no real rhyme or reason around it. So it's just like, it just kind of ends there after that. I mean, they, the FBI is called in and, they come and shut everything everything down, and the slave masters dying words as she was burning him and his other people there were pretty much, this isn't over, we've got other places. So alluding to the fact that there's other people that are doing this, or this organization or family that's doing this to people exist, but you get no further information as to what's going on. It's extremely disappointing. But again, very well shot, very well casted. The acting was great. It's just a whole lot of buildup pretty much for nothing. I talked about symbolism a little bit earlier. So here's some of the symbolism that I did pick out of there that I thought was kind of interesting. And again, very well shot. The raising of the tattered Confederate flag that was on the premises, the wrapping the leader in the same flag after she stabbed and killed him. I thought that was pretty good. The wearing of the Yankee jacket as she escaped to freedom, and the strategy that they had on the plantation, which was the forced silence amongst the slaves to discourage any communication of any kind, and then how they used the lift every voice and sing as their song of rebellion and call to action within there via whistle. So I thought that was great symbolism and very well used tools by the director and the writers. But I just feel like in the end, you have to have a movie that has some sort of resolution at the end, some reconciliation, something to where you can say, oh, okay, I understand why this happened and how that happened and this came together. It's just like you gave no sort of ending there. You gave us nothing. You gave us nothing for watching all of this stuff. It was a big setup, but no reward in the end. So my advice to you in terms of going into this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, is that just know it's going to let you down in the end, and you're not going to get any return on your investment as you look at it, but it will be visually stunning. It'll tell a great story, and it'll definitely open your eyes to the extremities that the slaves had to face during that time period. So that's what I got on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Definitely subscribe to the page. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care. Be safe. Take care.